there yet, but when you get there, I want you to know what you're doing. Some of you will start this today. All of your animals are going to have a snout. So what I mean by a snout is whatever it smells out of, or anything that's coming off of the head or the egg, because your animal does not look flat right here. Okay, so some of you will have a really big snout, some of you will have a beak, some of you will have a smaller snout or just a little kind of bump, but there's something there that you have to add. All right. Before you add the snout, you can kind of start to shape your egg if you want to. So some of you might need to push in a little bit. I might push mine in a little bit. You can give it some shape before you do this. You can also do it after, so it's up to you. And then you will get some soft clay. It needs to be soft. It does not have to be brand new, but it needs to be soft. And you will score your clay right in the middle of the egg. Most snouts are going to go through the eyes, just like your nose does. Okay, it's the same thing. So you want to see where your snout is on your animal. And then, I don't need this much. Then you'll score. This. Add some slip. And you are going to push it. Make sure you're holding it in your hand while you push it. Don't push it on the table because then you're going to flatten your egg out. You're going to push it onto your animal. And then you're done. Look like a cat? Okay, I got way too much, so I'm going to rip some off. I can tell already I have too much. You don't need that much. After you slip and score it, you're going to smooth it out. You have to be really careful of the eyes. You don't want to mess up those beautiful eyes that you just spent all that time on. So kind of be careful when you're smoothing. There is a cat snout in here that's just waiting to come out, so you gotta find it. Oh, I'm glad you said that. I always forget this. Your animal will look like a lot of different animals before it looks like the one you're actually making. Okay? So you'll see a lot of different animals in it. But keep going. You want to make it into your animal. You can't just decide, oh, this looks more like a platypus, so I'm going to just make a platypus. Okay? That's not using your skills to make what you want. All right? So your grade will suffer. You don't want to do that. So once I get this all sort of smoothed out, okay, once I get it sort of smoothed out around the eyes and stuff, I'm going to cut some of this off. You're only making the top snout when you do this. Okay, you're not making the bottom with it. You're just making the top. So, you know when you were little and you drew a cat mouth and it had like that little line and then the little smile? It's kind of like that, especially obviously for the cat. You're going to cut the bottom of the top lip and just take that extra stuff off. So we're just making the top. Okay, so then you can start to smooth this out. You have to pay attention to the angle. So hopefully you have a picture of the side of your animal, because this angle is going to be really important. If you have like a cow and your snout comes straight out, then it's going to look more like a golden retriever than a cow. Okay, a cow snout goes kind of down. So you have to pay attention to the angle of this. With the cat snout, it's kind of flat up through here, and then it has these sort of lines. And really the nose is sort of at almost a point. So I would spend some time really shaping that. And then the sides are kind of round, so I would maybe pinch this up. So you'll just start to shape what you see. Okay, another thing you want to look at is the width of your snout. So if you kind of drew a line from the edge of the snout to the eye, you want to make sure it's the same as in the picture. So right now, if I drew a line from the edge of the snout to the eye, it hits a little bit more than halfway of the eye. If I look here, it's about halfway to the eye. So I would have to cut a little bit of this off. Okay, so you might have a snout that's as wide as the eye. It goes all the way out to the edge of the eye. So you need to make sure on your animal that it does the same thing. Okay, so I would look at the eyes, I would look at my pictures, and I would try to make this as close as I could to what I see in my pictures. Okay, once I have the snout that I want, which I'm not there yet, but I'm going to continue on here because it would take me a while to get that shape. You're going to add the nose. Okay, some of you don't have noses, and that's fine. Some of you just have to draw like little nostrils. Okay, so you'll do that. For those of you that do have noses, you'll probably notice if you look at your animals at home, the nose kind of sits in the snout. Okay, so if we just drew a nose on here, it would not look really realistic. Okay, we can make it look better than that. So what we're gonna do, Alexis, are you watching? Draw the nose and carve it out. And then you can just clean it up. Then you can take a piece of clay and you can make a new little nose. Let's do it. And you can slip and score it right in that little divot. Hold on, make it too big. Okay, so when you slip and score it in there, and you would do that nicer, it's gonna look more realistic. Okay, see how that looks more like your animal at home? Okay, obviously yours is gonna look nicer, but it just makes it look like it's kind of sitting. All right, when you're done with the top snout, you can add the bottom. When you're adding the bottom, you'll just take some clay and you're gonna shape it into like a chin, whatever shape you see in your picture. So I would sort of shape this, and then I could attach it sort of on the bottom. You see we have this little, see how it looks kind of cat-like? Okay, you can make it open if you want to. Okay, whatever you do, it needs to touch on the sides, because if it's down here, that looks funny. Then it would never be able to close its mouth, right? How would it eat? How would it drink? It wouldn't be able to. That would be sad. Okay, so you got to make sure that these are attached. All right, you would slip and score that to the bottom. After you have sort of the snout done, you can start adding some shape to it. You might notice that your animal has really distinctive cheekbones, so you could slip and score some cheekbones on here. You might notice that it needs to be a little bit taller in the head, so you can slip and score some clay on the top. Okay, just start making the head as close to your pictures as you can. We're not going to add ears yet or anything like that. I'll stop you before you get to that point. But start shaping the head the way that you see it in your pictures. Any questions? Is there anything